Lord K just Snapchatted me. Let's send one back. Mary, are you actually reading right now?
What? It's good.
What book is it?
King Lear.
Who's that by?
William Shakespeare.
Who's that?
Sophie!
What?
You don't know who William Shakespeare is?
Well, I mean, I've heard of him.
Oh my gosh, sit down. I'm going to tell you about him. Sophie, come here. I need to tell you about William Shakespeare. Okay.
William Shakespeare is believed to be born on or near April 23, 1564, in Stratford-upon-Avon, England. Yet the personal history of William Shakespeare is somewhat a mystery. Historians have been able to discover facts about his life through his plays and official documentation such as church and court records. His father, John Shakespeare, was a leather merchant married to Mary Arden. Together they had 6 children. William was the third child and most likely attended the King Edward IV Grammar School in Stratford. He married Anne Hathaway in 1582 and had 3 children. By 1592, William Shakespeare left his family behind and traveled to London to earn his living through acting and playwriting. Success quickly followed, and Shakespeare became the most popular playwright in England and part owner of the Globe Theatre. William Shakespeare's plays were typically divided into 4 categories: histories, comedies, tragedies, and romances. His earlier works were mostly histories and comedies, with the exception of Romeo and Juliet. Around 10 years later, Shakespeare wrote the tragedy King Lear, which was published in 1605. It is known to be one of Shakespeare's greatest plays. King Lear is most believably inspired by a lawsuit that occurred near the same time Shakespeare wrote this tragedy. The lawsuit dealt with the case in which the eldest of 3 sisters strived to have her elderly father declared insane so that she could take control of his property. The youngest daughter triumphantly defended her father. Another case that may have been a source of inspiration to King Lear was when the mayor of London unsuccessfully tried to divide his wealth among his 3 daughters. In both cases, Shakespeare radically altered the play.
There were 2 versions published of King Lear. One version was a quarto published in 1608, and the other was a folio, a more theatrical version, published in 1623. Both were written by Shakespeare and therefore often published together to make a third conflated text. However, this would require 4 hours to the stage, and so often film and play productions substantially reduced this. The quarto edition includes 300 lines and a whole scene that does not appear in the first folio. The 2 versions each give important speeches to different characters, altering the nature of the 3 key characters. The endings are also significantly different. In the quarto edition of King Lear, the title page says that the play has been performed as part of the Christmas festivities at court. The title page continues with the information that His Majesty's servants are usually to be found at the Globe on the Bankside. The play was performed numerous times at the Globe's Playhouse or Globe's Theatre, which was a tiered, tall, and open-roofed building. The stage and props were usually simple, so the audience would concentrate solemnly on the words that the actors spoke. The roles of the 3 daughters in King Lear were often taken by talented boys. In fact, all the roles in King Lear were initially played by men. King Lear was first performed on December 26, 1606. King Lear's story has been the inspiration of movies in present day. A movie, 1,000 Acres, starring Jessica Lange and Michelle Pfeiffer, is very similar to Shakespeare's tragedy.
2 sisters, bound by love, devoted to family.
Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, Larry.
Happy Father's Day, Dad.
Our farm's been in the Cook family for 100 years. We're going to form a corporation, and you girls will each have a third. What do you say?
It's a good idea, Daddy. It's a great idea. I don't know.
You don't want it, my girl. You're out.
We will be performing Act 1, Scene 1. In this section, King Lear divides his kingdom between his 3 daughters.
William Shakespeare's King Lear is a tragic play about family, greed, and jealousy. King Lear is the father of 3 daughters and the wealthy king of Britain. His eldest daughter, Gonriel, is unhappily married to the Duke of Albany. His middle daughter, Regan, is married to the Duke of Cornwall. His youngest and most beloved daughter is Cordelia. The Prince of France is courting her. King Lear, now elderly, is planning to divide his kingdom evenly among his 3 daughters before his death, but first he asks them to express their love for him in order to make the right decision.
Meantime, we shall express our darker purpose. Give me the map there. Know that we have divided in 3 our kingdoms, and 'tis our fast intent to shake all cares and business from our age, conferring them on younger strengths, while we unburthened crawl toward death. Our son of Cornwall, and you, our no less loving son of Albany, we have this hour a constant will to publish our daughters, several dowers, that future strife may be prevented now. The princes France and Burgundy, great rivals in our youngest love, long in our court, have made their amorous sojourn, and here are to be answered. Tell me, my daughters, since now we will diddest us both to rule, interest of territory, cares of state, which of you, shall we say, doth love us most, that we our largest bounty may extend, where nature doth men challenge. Goneril, our eldest born, speak first.
Sir, I love you more than words can wield the manner, dearer than eyesight, space, and liberty, beyond what can be valued, rich or rare, no less than life with grace, health, beauty, honor, as much as a child ever loved or father found, a love that makes a breath, poor in speech unable, beyond all manner of so much I love you. What shall Cordelia do? Love and be silent?
Of all these bounds, even from this line to this, with shadowy forests and champaigns rich, with plenteous rivers and wide-skirted meads, we make thee lady, to thine Albany's issue, be this perpetual. What says our second daughter, our dearest Regan, wife to Cornwall? Speak.
Sir, I am made of the same metal that my sister, and prize me at her worth. In my true heart I find she makes my very deed of love. Only she come too short, that I profess, myself an enemy to all other joys which the most precious square of sense possesses. And I find I am alone, facetiate in your dear highness' love. Then poor Cordelia, and yet not so, since I am sure that my love is more richer than my tongue.
To thee and thine hereditary ever remain this ample third of our fair kingdom, no less in space, validity, and pleasure than that conferred on Gonriel, now our joy. Although last, not least, to whose young love the vines of France and milk of Burgundy strive to be interest, what can you say to draw a third more opulent than your sisters? Speak.
Nothing, my lord.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing will come of nothing. Speak again.
Unhappy that I am, I cannot heave my heart into my mouth. I love your majesty according to my bond, no more nor less.
How, Cordelia? Mend your speech a little, lest it may mar your fortunes.
Good my lord, you have begot me, bred me. I return those duties back as are right fit, obey you, love you, and most honor you. Why have my sisters husbands, if they say they love you all? Happily when I shall wed, that lord whose hand must take my plight shall carry half my love with him, half my care and duty. Sure, I shall never marry like my sisters, to love my father all.
But goes thy heart with this?
Aye, good my lord.
So young and so untender.
So young and so true.
Let it be so, thy truth, then by thy dower, for by the sacred radiance of the sun, the mysteries of Hecate and the night, by all the operation of the orbs from whom we do exist and cease to be, here I disclaim all my paternal care, propinquity, and property of blood, and as a stranger to my heart and me, hold thee from this forever. The barbarous Scythian, or he that makes his generation message to gorge his appetite, shall to my bosom be as well neighbored, pitied, and relieved as thou, my sometime daughter.
After King Lear disowns Cordelia, she accompanies the Prince of France to his kingdom without the blessing of her father.
King Lear soon becomes conscious of his bad decision of trusting his other daughters instead of Cordelia, and it soon becomes prominent that Goneril and Regan are both betraying their father.
King Lear soon becomes insane. He leaves Goneril's castle and begins to wander around the heath, escorted by his fool and Kent, a loyal nobleman, in a treacherous thunderstorm.
Gloucester, a loyal nobleman, has a liking for King Lear and decides to aid Lear after finding out that Lear's evil daughters turned against him.
When Regan and her husband discover Gloucester helping Lear, they claim he is a traitor and gouge out Gloucester's eyes.
Cordelia, still loyal to her father, decides to return to Britain with an army in an attempt to rescue her father. She loses the battle against the English and is taken prisoner along with her father, King Lear. At the climatic end of the play, Gloucester dies and Goneril poisons her sister Regan out of jealousy from adulterously loving the same man. Later, Goneril stabs herself out of guilt, and Cordelia is executed in prison. Finally, King Lear dies out of grief for Cordelia's death.
Pretty much all of the characters have died. Needless to say, they all did not live happily ever after.
Oh, I get it now. So the scene performed is influential throughout the play because it sets the dramatic tone of jealousy, greed, and achievement of power. Cordelia is the protagonist in King Lear because she does not possess these traits. According to many scholars, the main theme of the play is loyalty. Cordelia is one of the few characters who truly demonstrates loyalty. Loyalty is ignored throughout the play instead of being appreciated.
Oh my gosh, did you notice that it started raining?
Wow, that happened fast.
Yeah, oh my gosh, a thunderstorm. Oh, okay, well, maybe we should go inside. I can finish telling you about King Lear inside. Yeah, so let's take off our rollerblades first. Okay.
Oh! Brr. Good thing we came in when we did. It's
Yeah,
freezing
seriously.
outside. Okay. Oh my gosh, Sophie, do you know what I just realized?
What?
I can totally use all this stuff I've been telling you about King Lear for my Shakespeare project.
Oh, good point.
Yeah. Do you want to read the beginning part of my conclusion?
Like
Tell me if it sounds good? Yeah, proofread it. Yeah.
Okay. King Lear was a prominent play during Shakespeare's lifetime based on the fact that there were two editions. In Harold Bloom's Shakespeare, The Invention of the Human, he feels that, as he says in the book, I emphasize reading more than ever because I have attended many staging of King Lear and invariably have regretted being there. Harold Bloom feels that the play is so deep that the actors fall short of revealing the character's deep nature. Bloom also states since the tragedy of King Lear may well be the height of the literary experience, we cannot afford to lose our capability for confronting it. Harold Bloom, along with other critics, give their highest remarks to the tragedy of King Lear. That sounds pretty good.
Thanks.
I like that.
Okay. So then, this is the second part of my conclusion. And you should let me know if it sounds good. Okay. King Lear by William Shakespeare was an interesting and dramatic play. At the end of the play, all of the main characters die, similar to William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. This play also resembles Shakespeare's Macbeth because the play strives to teach a lesson to the audience. Both plays carry the theme that selfishness will only harm. While reading the play, one realizes the deep nature of all the characters. Cordelia, the protagonist, possesses the characteristics such as loyalty, humility, and honor. Her two evil sisters do not show these qualities, and therefore the outcome is unfortunate, not only for the two sisters, but also for Cordelia. One small lesson the play teaches in the very beginning is shown through King Lear. Although he is a noble and honest king, he resorts to petty and false praise in order to decide how he should divide his kingdom. King Lear is a dramatic, eventful play that contains life lessons demonstrated by each of the characters.
Wow, Mary, that sounds like A quality work to me.